where the news never stops. LBC News.
5 minutes past 4, and the Metropolitan Police Service says it's working with a contractor to find out if information may have been compromised in a potential data breach. The London force has been made aware of unauthorised access to the IT system of one of its suppliers. Let's hear from Curran, who's a professor of cybersecurity at Ulster University, and he joins us on the programme now. It's great to have you on the programme this Sunday afternoon. We've been hearing of a few data breaches in time, perhaps most famously of all, the data breach in the police service of Northern Ireland. What's been going on?
Well, data breaches are obviously increasing because cybercrime has become the fastest growing crime in the world, really. And of course, everything is now stored online, of course, and some data is more sensitive than others. And of course, no police force wants their names or any personal details leaked off their staff. And in this case, this is what happened. But it seems to be from a third party rather than the police itself.
Okay, and how would you rate the UK compared to other countries in terms of the cybersecurity resilience?
It's a difficult thing to actually answer, but what I would say is that we are one of the main targets because we are actually quite a rich country. It's only when you travel to the east and wherever else to other countries and you realize how little people earn. So obviously criminals will always go after where the money is, really. And of course, we don't know if this is state sponsored or is it just ordinary criminals, really. But of course, the main thing here is that it's a third party. And of course, it's not unusual for any organization to use third parties for processing data or whatever else, but there are best practices, of course. And what we call in this case is TPRM, again, a third party risk management. Again, because just because you outsource data to someone doesn't mean that you're off the guard, off the hook for this. You know, that there are procedures in place that you got to categorize these people, you know, these software vendors or wherever you're dealing with and hold them to the same standards that you're held to, because we have standards, again, which cybersecurity, any company has to adhere to, again. And again, one of the most famous standards is GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation brought in by Europe. Again, where companies have to show that they can handle data correctly and that they don't leak it and they don't use it for nefarious purposes, again. So we have these checklists, again. In this case, you have to be able to audit any company which supplies software to you or processes any data belonging to you.
Okay, so it sounds like there is some kind of pretty strict regulation in place. Can cybersecurity ever be completely watertight, or should we be preparing for the fact that this may not be the last of these attacks?
It's very difficult. Anything which is connected to the internet, of course, highly sensitive organizations, again, or computers which have to do with whatever else, can be air-gapped, as we say, that there is no Wi-Fi card, there is no connection to the network. But of course, even they can be infiltrated with USB sticks, which did happen in the famous uranium recycling in Iran that time. But again, it's very, very difficult because the hackers only have to get lucky ones, but the good guys have to secure every single avenue again. And of course, complex IT systems become so complex, again, just like we're saying here, you know, sometimes you've got third parties involved or whatever else, but there are practices, again, and we have to see whether or not the police were adhering to best practice, again, and maybe that will only come through an external audit.
And lastly, what will the Metropolitan Police be doing right now in terms of their priorities?
Again, well, I suppose they have to figure out exactly what was leaked. How was it leaked? Again, is that, you know, can they patch the vulnerability which was found in the system, try to determine who the external, you know, who the infiltrators were as such, and then obviously go through all their other systems to see who else has access to confidential police information, really.
Great to speak to you, Curran, who's Professor of Cybersecurity at Ulster University. Thank you very much indeed.
The news in 20 minutes, every 20 minutes. This is LBC News.